doubt helped save lives, but as we heard from Bill Proenza, National Hurricane Center Director, it's outdated and needs replaced. It saved lives, but it didn't save property. There was a lot of property damage, Stephanie, right there in Bay St. Louis, because Bay St. Louis basically experienced the worst of Hurricane Katrina. A lot of rebuilding had to be done, and done by people that don't necessarily live there.
Absolutely. We're talking about thousands of volunteers, and really if you ask anyone along the Gulf Coast, they'll say the recovery process would be much slower if it wasn't for all of the volunteers that have made their way down here and helped out. Now, some volunteers come for a week, others come for a month, but our own Jim Cantori has a story of volunteers who came and never left.
It's humbling to be able to be this involved in somebody's life, to be able to help them get back in a home. It's a real honor.
As a volunteer after Katrina hit, Jordan Sikkema only intended to stay a short time. That was more than a year and a half ago.
Just stayed, saw a need, and filled it.
He now coordinates the construction of houses like this one in Hancock County and other volunteer efforts for Lagniappe Presbyterian Church.
Okay, hang on, I need the nail gun.
I mean, we started a hotel, a restaurant, a travel agency, a construction company, and a church all on the same day. And it takes all those pieces of the puzzle to make all this happen.
Pastor John Larroux is the heart and soul of what has become a volunteer camp. Born and raised in Bay St. Louis, Larroux left an established church in Memphis to provide help and hope to a devastated Gulf Coast.
Had no job, no resources, no staff, no facility, no anything. And when you run out of resources, that's when you really get on your knees.
His prayers were answered, and with volunteers and donations, the Lagniappe Presbyterian Church was born. Up to 350 volunteers a day are given room and board while they help. That's about 1,300 meals a day if you're counting. So why do it?
We say of ourselves down here that we're all bipolar. We laugh and cry in the same sentence, and we're not all together right. And it takes a little bit of that to move to a place that's the ground zero, the greatest natural disaster of U.S. history, and say, that's just the kind of place I'd want to be.
But it's more than that. Larroux lost his aunt and uncle in the hurricane. He, like the thousands of volunteers that have already walked through the church doors, wanted to give back.
This could be us. You know, we could have a hurricane strike us at any time during the summer, and we just kind of felt the need that this is where God wanted us to come.
It's hard. It's hard. And it's hard on the folks that are here. It's hard on me. It's hard on our families. It's hard on the staff. It's one of those things where if somebody can come along when something's too heavy for somebody to carry by themselves and help carry it a little, that's why we're here.
I'm meteorologist Jim Cantori.
Now, the church's name is a Creole term that means a little something, a little extra, a little something for nothing. And of course, the church is appropriately named, Mike.
Stephanie, I got a couple of questions for you. First of all, there still must be an army of volunteers there in Bay St. Louis, and also it costs a lot of money to rebuild churches and travel agencies and homes. Where's that money coming from?
Right. Well, I'll start with the money, Mike, since that was the last thing you asked me, and a lot of it is private donations, and the church is estimating that they've been able to raise about $1 million. That is just an estimation. And then as for the volunteers at that exact church, since Hurricane Katrina, they've had some 6,000 to 7,000 volunteers, and all along the Gulf Coast, estimates are 500,000 volunteers have been here to help out.
Wow.
Pretty outstanding.
Yeah, that really is pretty amazing. Stick with us, Steph. We're going to be back to Steph.